Good evening. What you're seeing is a telephone call from the Comptroller General of the United States, Eugene Luis Dodaro. And if you will notice, there are 4 calls, and this is at 9:25 p.m. at night from the Comptroller General of the United States. That's him. Eugene Luis Dodaro. Now, my name is Jesha Miller. I petitioned the Constitution's checks and balances, calling for Congress to address the Constitution's checks and balances right now. Now, the Comptroller General of the United States has a duty, and that is the Government Accountability Office. Now, he's called to hold Congress accountable for evading what I told you before is they must hear the Constitution's checks and balances, which upholds the integrity of the Constitution. This was notice went to all of Congress, the Senate and the House. 100 senators and not one had the integrity to uphold and honor the Constitution checks and balances, which upholds the integrity of the Constitution. Now, this, as I said, is petition to the Comptroller General, and he's got to hold Congress accountable for the Constitution's checks and balances. And he was given a deadline, June 22nd. Now, this deadline also calls for the Comptroller General of the United States to pay me, Jesha Miller, $350 million, and Congress must take that out of the budget because this is what is owed. This is owed as for slavery, abolished, prohibited by the 13th Amendment by the United States Supreme Court. All right. Unprecedented. So, what I'm going to do is walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it. He know this, and that's why I got no response from him. But this is the same man that called me 9:25 at night, and this is the conversation that goes on. He calls me. I get the 202 number. I'm hearing him, and he hangs up. Okay, hey, the game's on. LeBron, KD, they getting down. Like I said, it's game time. So he calls back again. I pick up the phone. He says, "You've been harassing me. Cease and desist." I said, "Who is this?" He said, "You've been harassing me. Cease and desist." I said, "Man, I don't even know who this is. What is your name?" So he's saying Louis, but in actuality he's saying Luis. But like I say, the Mexicans, we listen how they talking. He's saying one thing and I'm thinking it says another because I'm thinking American and he's speaking in Spanish or Mexican. So I'm thinking about it, I'm pondering about it, I'm trying to figure out who this is. So then I figure it out. I says, he ain't saying Louis, he's saying Luis. So I call him back. And that's why you got 4 of them. So I call him back. And I says, "Is this Eugene Luis Dodaro?" And he says, "Yes." Allow me to introduce myself. All America, my name is Jesha Miller. I petition the Constitution checks and balances, and I'm telling him to take this to the floor of Congress tomorrow. Okay? Again, that's May the 31st, the last day of the month. So, he said, well, how am I supposed to take this checks and balances to Congress? I said, because the entire judicial branch of government is corrupt. He says, that can't be. I said, yes, it can, and that for that reason, they have the Constitution checks and balances for them to be checked. They have to be checked. So take that to Congress, because Congress cannot ignore, evade, turn a blind head, eyes, nose, eye. The monkey got them all three covered. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. But you gotta hear the truth. So, he says, well, maybe it is with Trump as president. I said, it is, and President Trump could not evade it. He took an oath of office to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution, and that is the Constitution's checks and balances, because that is what upholds the integrity. The judicial branch against Congress has to be checked. So now, he says, okay. He says, send that to me. And I said, I'll send it in the morning. I said, I will email it to you. So I emailed it to him the next day for him to take to Congress on the first day of June, of which he failed to do. Now I want y'all to look careful now, because that is a certified number, and that is to the Comptroller General, Luis Dodaro. Yes, Eugene Luis Dodaro, the Comptroller General of the United States, supposed to hold Congress accountable. You see, he got to hold them accountable because that's part of his job. He runs the Government Accountability Office. So this is what he got to do. Now, so, as I said, he received this, and this was to the Comptroller General as early as May the 1st. So he calls me on the last day of the month. 30 days that went past. He still ain't done nothing, because I'm calling him to do his duty. And when we talking about him doing his duty, so he says, I'll do my best. He says he'll do his best. Understand this, all Americans, everyone, and the media gotta pick this one up. Then y'all know they in cahoots on with this, because him talking about doing his best. I said no. I said, I tell you what you do. You call a press conference. You call a press conference and hold Congress accountable for neglecting, for evading the Constitution checks and balances supported by irrefutable evidence. Irrefutable means impossible. Impossible, baby, to deny what they did. And that's impose slavery in violation of the 13th Amendment. Do I need to bring the House down? Because all Americans are getting ready for this. That's right. That's right. Y'all got it? The veteran of the United States Air Force to defend and honor the Constitution's checks and balances, because Congress ain't doing this. Fitting for the Judicial Watch always says, and that's his thing, this is what Congress don't want the American public to know. This is what ain't none of them telling you, that the entire judicial branch of government is corrupt. That includes the United States Supreme Government. And when I said slavery, I said what I said, and I meant what I meant. And here it is, writ of certiorari. Petition requires the judiciary to account for a man's imprisonment. The judiciary are the justices of the United States Supreme Court, which must review and give judgment affirming or reversing a conviction. There it is right there. See, I walk it like I talk it. I walk it like I talk it. I walk it like I talk it. I ain't just talking this for all America. This is what the media has been hiding from the public. President Trump, hey, Humpty Dumpty fix Ray take a fall, and you know what the end result is, because they couldn't put him back together again. That's right. 3 times he been petitioned to honor the Constitution, checks and balances, which ain't never happened. I'm showing you what the game is so ugly, so ugly. Oh, so ugly. Yeah. So, while the Comptroller General, Dodaro, is doing his best, which you gotta, this is not a do your best thing. This is either. Either you do your duty and call a press conference for the whole nation to know that the United States Supreme Court is corrupt. That calls for the Constitution, checks and balances. And this is part of the problem. Because when we play with these guys, the $350 million that they owe me started out to be $50 million. And the same game applies. Over the process of time, the interest arose to $200 million. Now you got the interest arise to $200 million. So now we at this point right here. What he did, that's refusal in defiance of the Constitution of the United States. That's right, that's right. So call him, we got a number up there. Yeah, Comp General. Call him, everybody that sees this, call him and your senator and demand that they both honor the Constitution, checks and balances. This is what they must do. When we talk about must do, the Constitution, checks and balances is the word we call essential. The word essential. Extremely important. Crucial. Crucial. This is what upholds the integrity of the Constitution, and without that, they do this right here. Gorsuch says he'll repeal and replace the 4th Amendment with something terrific. And as a presidential candidate, Donald Trump offered a vague promise to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act with something terrific. I'm going to tell you what's terrific before you do any damn thing. Honor the Constitution, checks and balances. There he is talking about he going to do something terrific when he cannot honor the Constitution, checks and balances because the Judicial Branch are refusing to be checked because the Judicial Branch are corrupt. The same thing as a criminal would do, these judges is doing. Denying the First Amendment right to freedom of speech press, to me, which is an evil, as said by the First Amendment. Now, I showed you this. Now, if the United States Supreme Court was not in defiance of the Constitution, refusing to adhere to the demands of the Constitution for everybody's right to freedom, justice, and humanity, that's right, it would not have happened twice. That's right. It would not have happened twice. And as you see, it stays stamped on there. So all y'all that's seeing this, I'm putting up. They cannot put up. Let me tell you something. The Comptroller General, he couldn't put up. That's his duty. June 22nd, call a press conference. You see, I'm ready to put it up, walk it like I talk. I'm ready to put up, walk it like I talk. I'm ready to show. Gotta show you right. This ain't something that they can keep on doing what they doing and refusing to address it. I'm gonna tell you what, he could not say nothing because this is his duty. And this being his duty, he can't say nothing. Then there it is right there in black and white. So what does he do? He don't say nothing. We call for you to call a press conference. This for the whole world to know. You see, if you're doing dirt, you do it in the dark. But if you're doing right, you can bring it to the light. I ain't just rhyming. That's how the Lord brings it. The truth must come to light. Now, I showed you twice where the United States Supreme Court is corrupt, commits an act against the law imposing slavery in violation of the 13th Amendment, because I already violated by the state of Indiana, and it goes to the United States Supreme Court, as you just saw. That's right. Office of the clerk. Yeah, that's right. This is all big time, because when you use the Constitution checks and balances, we're talking about an entire branch of government. So, we talking about an entire branch of government. Now they trying to change the Constitution, but they can't honor the Constitution. All of them need to be taken off the bench. They got to be taken off the bench. That's why they gonna want to face me, because I'm coming with the Constitution checks and balances. The Constitution checks and balances allows me, it's me, Jesha Miller, versus their best man. You got the United States Attorney General Sessions, put him up against me. He'll crumble like a rock, smash like an elephant stood on him. That's right. King Kong versus Godzilla, and they running. You know the result. David versus Goliath. You know the result. And they know the result. They know what they did. They caught. And so they evading the Constitution checks and balances. And they do this with the help of the media. If the United States Supreme Court is corrupt, then the entire judicial branch is corrupt, and every CNN, ABC, CBS, MSNBC shows something with the FBI director, Christopher Wray, talking about his accountability. I got him right here. Go to the FBI Ray, that's his name, WRAY.blogspot.com, and go on there and look at it. And he could not hold up the accountability because he would not honor the Constitution checks and balances. That's truth. That's real. See, when I throw them up, I'm showing you the evidence. I'm showing you the evidence. Now, what they doing? I'm gonna leave it up. Let's take a slow look. Annotations, First Amendment. This is what they supposed to secure, but they did not secure it. Judge Tanya Pratt denied it. A guaranteed right. Denied it. Oh, we want y'all to read it and get it real good. For those who having problems, the evils to be prevented were not merely the censorship of the press merely, because that's what I'm saying. The press could not censor this. The press can't say, no, we ain't putting it on. This is our guaranteed right. It enables every citizen at any time to bring the government and any person in authority to the bar of public opinion by any just criticism upon their conduct and exercise of authority which the people have conferred upon them. And when you violate the 13th Amendment, that's just cause. When you took the right to freedom and justice and equality in America, that's just cause. And when the motive was to deny $50 million. Here, I put it up. This is the relief with reparation. Oh, that killed the game right there. What they reparations. That's right. $40 million in punitive damages. That's right. Plus the $10 million. 4 and 1 is 5. Put them zeros on, that's 50. That's right. 50 million. Now, they refuse to pay. The interest rose up. And now today, that's right, you got it, the Comptroller General. All right, that's it. That's what's sent to him. $350 million. Oh, get it right. Get the point. Donald Trump refused to honor the Constitution checks and balances 3 times, which he cannot do. He must be held accountable for continuing oppression. Government owes. I'll keep telling y'all. Get to the middle, the center of it. You know, you eat a pizza, you eat around it, but the middle is the best part of it. That's $350 million. I told y'all. That's Stephon Curry currency. I told y'all. That's Giancarlo Stanton money. $350 million. Game on. See, I'm putting up for mine. You see what I'm saying? This ain't no joke right here. All of those, the Constitution Party just standing around looking, ain't done nothing about this. When I'm gonna break it down for you real hard, because it don't get no harder than this, don't get no better than this. I'm gonna show you what's real is real. I'm gonna show you how absolute power they're taking. It says, this judge, trial transcripts. When I say irrefutable, I said they cannot deny what they did. They overruled both the state constitution and the federal constitution, and this is what Judge David Kiley did. This is the motive for the cover-up. That's a federal crime under Title 18, Section 243, and this is what happened. So right about now, my man, you know, we're not changing no constitution. We're going to honor the Constitution's checks and balances. We're going to check the judicial branch of government, and then you can prove whether or not you're right. This is like they say, baby, you got to show you're right. You got to play for this. Hey, I know, LeBron, you was up 3-1. You was up against the greatest team at this time. Yeah, I know, Mike. Y'all could have got him, but I'm just saying. You got to play for this. Yeah, that's right. Going back, take it back. Houston come in, LA, we playing. We got to play for this. This ain't nothing you can give or take. This ain't nothing because you in power. Because you in power? No. Man up, baby. Harlem's in the house. I got power. Jesha Miller, I got power. I'm the one to petition the Constitution, checks and balances. It's me against you, so I got power. By my power, I'm ordering the media to give me immediate coverage, especially MSNBC, especially CNN, especially ABC, especially all of y'all. Because the checks and balances is Watergate. That calls for national coverage. That calls for world coverage. The Declaration of Independent States is still be proven before a candid world. I'm ready. Let's get it on. And Dodaro, hey, you ain't got this by Monday morning. Get ready to get up out of office. It's checkout time. Congress, all of y'all, ain't none of y'all reverse, reproach, done nothing to honor the Constitution, checks and balances. It's checkout time. Because you refuse to adhere to the demands of the Constitution, which are for any and all Americans. Walter, you want to check them out? This is Walter Cronkite. June 24th, 2018. And that's how it is. They don't want no smoke. Let's get it on. All Americans, let's uphold this. Yeah. Some of y'all got to come out of y'all sheets. That's right. Man up. Boot up. Boot up.